Hey, hi boys and girls, how you doing? It's Mr. Presley here. Just having a nice cup of coffee in one of my favorite mugs. Hey, look at that. I love Charlie Brown and Snoopy from when I was a kid. How you doing today? You know what? I thought it'd be fun to sit down and read with you a really cool book called The Lotus Seed. That's right. It's called The Lotus Seed. And look at the front cover. What are the people doing there, do you think, on the front cover? Do you notice where they're at? What they're doing? Look at the land around them. Then on the back, sometimes I like to look at the back cover. There's a flower there. I wonder what kind of flower that is. Do you know? This book is called The Lotus Seed. It's by Sherry Garland, and it's illustrated by Tetsuro Kaiuchi. Here we go. Here's the title page. And then here's the dedication page right here. And up at the top it says, "To Den, who longs to see the lotus blooms of Vietnam once again." And then here it says, "To Manuio, Akio, and Lynn." That's from the illustrator. Here we go. Let's see what this book's about. See the picture of what's happening there. My grandmother saw the emperor cry the day he lost his golden dragon throne. She wanted something to remember him by, so she snuck down to the silent palace near the river of perfumes and plucked a seed from the lotus pod that rattled in the imperial garden. Whoa, so look. There's her grandmother. Here's the lotus pond, and a pod would be kind of a seed. A pod is another name for a seed. She hid the seed in a special place under the family altar, wrapped in a piece of silk from the oe dye she wore that day. Whenever she felt sad or lonely, she took out the seed and thought of the brave young emperor. And when she married a young man chosen by her parents, she carried the seed inside her pocket for good luck, long life, and many children. When her husband marched off to war, she raised her children alone. One day, bombs fell all around and soldiers clamored door to door. She took the time to grab the seed, but left her mother of pearl hair combs lying on the floor. Well, you can see they're fleeing fast, huh? But she did have time to grab the seed. But not everything, huh? One terrible day, her family scrambled into a crowded boat and set out on a stormy sea. Ba watched the mountains and the waving palms slowly fade away. She held the sea in her shaking fingers and silently said goodbye. Wow, what's happening now in the story? So it looks like the little kid and who's growing up and is married is named Ba. I'm going to read this. Sometimes it's nice to reread something again and you understand it a little better. So I'm going to do that to help me understand a little better. One terrible day, her family scrambled into a crowded boat and set out on a stormy sea. Ba watched the mountains and the waving palms slowly fade away. She held the sea in her shaking fingers and silently said goodbye. Wow. There's a lot of people in that boat. Look at that. She arrived in a strange new land with blinking lights and speeding cars and towering buildings that scraped the sky and a language she didn't understand. So she totally left her country on a boat. She's in a different land. She worked many years, day and night, and so did her children and her sisters and her cousins too, living together in one big house. Working together, aren't they? Last summer, my little brother, let me read that again. Last summer, my little brother found the special seed and asked questions again and again. He'd never seen a lotus bloom or an emperor on a golden dragon throne. So one night, he stole the seed from beneath the family altar and he planted it in a pool of mud somewhere near Ba's onion patch. Look at that. So he took that seed and he planted it. This is her brother, her little brother. Ba cried and cried when she found out the seed was gone. Wow, I imagine, because that was something that she had from her homeland, huh? Ba cried and cried when she found out the seed was gone. She didn't eat, she didn't sleep, and my silly brother forgot what spot of earth held the seed. Oh no, he doesn't remember where he planted it. Then one day, in spring, my grandmother shouted. We all ran to the garden and saw a beautiful pink lotus unfurling its petals, so creamy and soft. It is the flower of life and hope, my grandmother said. No matter how ugly the mud or how long the seed lies dormant, the bloom will be beautiful. It is the flower of my country. Very cool. When the lotus blossom faded and turned into a pod again, Ba gave each of her grandchildren a seed to remember her by, and she kept one for herself to remember the emperor by. I wrapped my seed in a piece of silk and hid it in a secret place. Someday I will plant it and give the seeds to my own children and tell them about the day my grandmother saw the emperor cry. And that's the end of the story. What a great story. Hey, look at this. That is a lotus pod or a lotus seed right there. This is from the author. It's an author's note. It says, for centuries, emperors ruled Vietnam with absolute power because the people believed they were messengers from heaven and all wise. One emperor built a magnificent palace on the river of perfumes in the city of Hue, surrounded by majestic mountains. Modeled after the famous Forbidden City in Peking, China, it was a city within a city filled with fantastic gardens and orchards and surrounded by lotus-filled moats. Elaborate gates and graceful bridges crossed the moats to the part of Hue where the ordinary citizens lived. In the late 1800s, France conquered Vietnam and made it into a colony. The French exploited the land and people, and soon the emperors lost their power, took the throne. The last emperor of Vietnam, Nguyen Van Thu, was born in 1913. When he took the throne at the age of 12, he became Bao Dai, keeper of greatness. Although he had no real power, Bao Dai was a symbol of Vietnamese heritage, and he performed at traditional ceremonies. Many Vietnamese wanted to be free of the French rule and become an independent nation again. So in 1945, Bao Dai abdicated his throne, handing over his golden seal and golden sword to leaders of the independence movement led by Ho Chi Minh. A bloody war followed until 1954, when Vietnam defeated the French and won its independence at last. But Vietnam was still a country in turmoil, and soon another war erupted between the North and the South. This time the United States helped the Southerners. The Civil War lasted until 1975, when the South was defeated. As the conquering Northern Army swept down, about 1 million Vietnamese fled by way of boat. And that's what this family did. They fled by way of boat. They came from all walks of life: teachers, doctors, merchants, farmers, fishermen, Leaving behind their homes, their possessions, their families, and friends, America became the new home for the majority of Vietnamese refugees. So, this is kind of the story of one family leaving Vietnam during that time and coming to the United States to live. And you can see they brought with them very few things, but one thing they brought was that one lotus seed from the emperor's garden that they could then keep and then pass down to their generations of families and still enjoy the love of their home country and its flower, the lotus. Pretty cool. So this is called the Lotus Seed. I hope you liked it. If you'd like to, you can check it out from our library. Our library is available for families to check out books. The way you would do that is you would email your child's teacher and tell us your student's name and what books you'd like to check out, and we'll get those checked out to you, and you can pick them up at like pickup material days that we have. Anyway, this is the Lotus Seed. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. All right, what are you reading? I hope you're reading some great things. If you are, it'd be awesome if you'd share with us what you're reading. All right, have a great day.